Day 5 of the Stanley Cup playoffs in the books. Unfortunately, for Sharks fans, their least favorite team in the playoffs is one win away from moving on. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about Jerks Yotes on this edition of Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Saturday night, August 15th, 2020, and a cartoon characters handful of games to get to on this edition of After Dark. We do this after every night in the Stanley Cup playoffs, normally after every Sharks game. So for Sharks fans, if you're here, join us in the chat on the YouTube page, on the app. Hey, hockey fans, do the same. Hi, everyone. Do the same. Follow us on the social media, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, you name it, you love it. Appreciate each and every one of you. Of course, hit that bell. That'll show you when we go on the air and do all this into goodies here. So with that, hi everyone, Erik Kuhre here. You can follow me on Twitter and the Instagram at PuckGuy14. Wow, another interesting night in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but Chicago. The one time I finally want to hear Chelsea Dagger. The one time. And you have to disappoint me as much as the Giants have disappointed me this year. My God. And within 15 minutes of each other, the Giants have to blow another game. For you A's fans, boy, are they on a roll in the ninth inning or what? But that's enough baseball talk. There's enough stations that do baseball talk around here. But man, I thought Chicago might have some sort of magic left. I really did. I thought there was something Chicago could do, but no. Heaven forbid. Hey, at this point, I'm wondering when Vegas is going to get approved to become one of the members of the original 7 at this point. Like the original 7. Like, for crying out loud. Seriously. You know, it's just ridiculous. But hey, it is what it is, folks. Vegas, all around the better team. They are the better team. They could dictate play. They really showed their speed against the against Chicago tonight. I mean, it is what it is. California cruising. Let's go A's. Sorry, Puck. Hey, you know what? Okay, here's the thing. I will fully admit to being a split capper. I always have. I'm more towards the Giants, and I'll put it this way. My favorite team is the Giants, but if you ask me who my favorite baseball player is all time, it'd be Ricky Henderson. I know. And not that makes any weirdness to you or anything, but, you know, or adds on to the quirkiness that is yours truly. But, yeah, it is what it is here. Let me get that here. Jersey of the night. You're looking at a Brad Staubitz gamer from the 2010 playoffs. I don't think he wore it except for warm-ups. But Brad Staubitz gamer here on this night. So we'll let you get a shot at that. And this could be yours for the low, low price of only $250. Just putting that out there. So, let's talk about all of these things going on here. You know, thread carefully. Oh, God, Amanda. Oh, jeez. Calm down. You know, my heart's with the Giants. Come on. Gee, Merry Christmas. We went through this earlier tonight during dinner, okay? Just simmer down now. Let's begin on this day with the Avalanche and the Coyotes. Colorado puts up another 51 shots on goal. I mean, my God. By the end of the series, no matter what happens with the Coyotes, Darcy Kemper's going to need new pads. And granted, they were breaking up the Kachina jerseys, which means he broke out all his different, you know, padding and masks and such. So, Coyotes, we knew they were going to have a bounce back game sometime. It's not. Avalanche isn't going to be perfect, but, my goodness. But it's officially their first playoff win since 2012. You look at it all around, Derek Stefan gets going 1-0 early, but Burakovsky, who's been like an Avalanche, a Coyote killer, figuratively, not literally, folks, ties it up. Brad Richardson comes back, gives him the lead. Taylor Hall gets the tight goal there, for the empty netter. Then Rantanen makes it interesting again to make it make it 3-2, and then Krause with the empty netter to finish it off. Krause, what the hell happened? Remember when people were saying lost in Krause? The Sharks should draft him instead of like Timo Meier or Rowensky. Yikes! But obviously, Darcy Kemper. My goodness, 49 saves on the night to get the victory for your Desert Dogs. What's funny is that you also have just an outpouring of a goalie standing on his head. Shoot, Colorado outshot the Coyotes 20-12. 20 shots on goal in the first period. Then he's put another 16 in the second. From the second period onward, the Avalanche outshot the Desert Dogs 31-11. And the Coyotes score 3 goals on 11 shots to finish off the game. Wow. Wow. Seriously. I reached out late to Hockey Jerk. No response. Probably hanging out with the girlfriend. So, Jerk, hope you're having a good one. Congratulations to your Yotes. Hopefully they will get this thing even keeled. That being said, do we want the Coyotes to tie the series up? I don't know. I want a legitimate contender in there to take on the Golden Knights, which, as seen earlier in this evening, didn't play the best game against Chicago tonight, but they got the job done. They got their 2 goals, shut it down. Yeah, Olimata got one in the third period to make it interesting. But deep down, yikes. Yikes indeed. Vegas just looks too good. And seeing how everything's trickling out, I think it's going to happen, King. I just think it's going to happen. And it's going to suck. Because if you think they're the fan base and the team are unbearable now, just wait if they're hosting the Cup. Just wait. Vegas wins 2-1, go up the series 3-0. They play their back-to-back tomorrow, so they have a chance to sweep at 3:30 tomorrow. You just hoping that Chicago can find their way to get back into things, which they've done before. In 2011, the Canucks were up 3-0 on the 8th-seeded Blackhawks, and Chicago came back from that 0-3 deficit to tie it and send it to Game 7 in overtime, where Burrows steals and scores. They've slayed the dragon. We've heard that one so many times. Can Chicago pull it off? They're capable, but they need to move their feet. Get pucks on net. Vegas is shutting down the middle of the ice, and keeping it perimeter passing. It's doing really well. And yeah, I mean it's just second right now. You know, yeah, just it's yikes. And that's probably, and speaking of yikes, that's probably what Bruins fans were saying, among other things, when they saw the news that Tuukka Rask had decided to opt out of the bubble. Right after some of his comments that you kind of aren't surprised, and with a newborn plus a couple of kids and his wife, thought honestly, I'll just go home. And that's a controversial decision to do because in one sense you look at it and you could say, yeah, he's bailing on his teammates. But at the same time, and it's tough to do because you get caught up in the whirlwind of sports, he has a family. And while Toronto and Ontario and Edmonton and Alberta and the NHL have done a phenomenal job making sure that there are no problems whatsoever, you can't blame him. So he heads home. Yaroslav Halak will take the Bruins as far as he can, and he delivered a victory 3-1 over the Carolina Hurricanes. Boston's up 2-1 in that series. Not exactly the best Bruins game for sure, but if you're a Shark fan, the first two goals weren't happy. You weren't happy about a power play goal by Charlie Coyle, former Sharks prospect. That was part of the Brent Burns deal a while back, so you're kind of okay with that. Make it 1-0, 14 seconds. In third period, a shorthanded goal by Sean Corrali, who was part of the Martin Jones trade. That's one where you probably cringe a little bit. And speaking of cringing, that hit on Svechnikov, yikes. I mean, absolutely yikes. Was it intentional? I don't know. But what you ask Evander Kane if Zdeno Chara gets away with some stuff. And you'd say, yeah, he effing does. Either way, Coyle with a goal and assist was the number one star in this one. But Carolina is not going away. They will not go away. I wouldn't be surprised if Reimers starts game 4. And then if he gets that, then for sure he's moving on as we go. Because Carolina, there's no quitting these guys. I'm sorry. Carolina's looking pretty good too. But Boston with the win, to give that up. Cheryl, depth given up by DW. Yep. And that's what it is. And not to get on the Sharks per se, but, Doug has to give up prospects and a pick to get these deals done. It's never straight up. You can look at Joe Thornton, Wayne Primo, Marco Sturm, Brad Stewart, Brent Burns, a first-round pick, which materialized to nothing, Charlie Coyle, which is finally materializing now, and Devin Setoguchi, who had a decent playing career. Yeah, not too bad. That's a pretty good haul, but still, would DW do that every day? Oh, I'm pretty sure he would. Then there's those nightmare trades where you give up a boatload, like, say, for Dan Boyle and Brad Lukowich, Matt Carl, among others, and picks, Bill Guerin, Brian Campbell. These were never like 1-for-1, and usually they aren't expected to be. But you eventually give up a lot of depth. It's going to catch up with you, and I think it's caught up to the Sharks now. So now, Sharks need to get their act together. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be quite an interesting offseason and a rapid offseason. Once that cup gets awarded, things are going to be hopping like crazy. We probably will not get some time off in this whole thing if that's the case. But that's the fun of it about doing this. So if you're new here, please subscribe. Please subscribe. We appreciate each and every one of you who do, for sure. Getting back to playoff proceedings, though, Tampa Bay, they are wanting it. They are wanting to not deal with the freaking, they aren't wanting to deal with what's going on with Columbus, and rightfully so. Let's be real here. They want that out of their heads. They want that revenge series victory like the Sharks did in 2016 over LA. Cheryl. Anyway, go Canes. I agree. Go Canes indeed. It's just like, man, they wanted a little bit more, which for the Sharks, not good. Because the more and more the Lightning win, the more and more that draft picks becomes later in the first round. You look at it, you have Killorn, Braden Point, Victor Hedman gets his first goal of the series. That turns out to be the game-winning goal. Gus Nyquist with his second assist. It's crazy. Patrick Tyler. Yeah, I'm rooting for the Canes too. I have them winning it all in the Teal Town USA bracket group, but it just went down the toilet with the Svechnikov injury. Well, you would hope not, but I mean, Carolina's got some talent there too that I think that they can still pull it off. But it's interesting to see what will happen. I won't even bother saying, oh, maybe they should take a look at the review, because it's Boston. They'll get away with it. I mean, come on, Boston hasn't had a victory parade in over 500 days, people. I mean, it's due. Brother. It's due. But Tampa Bay comes back strong. They get that victory here. Gus Nyquist, number 3 star. Miss you, Gus. Really miss you. But, Vasilevsky really wasn't tested. The shots were 34-17 in this game. Columbus had 7 shots on goal in their final 2 periods. These have been all tight checking affairs. Now, Columbus, you better go crazy. You better kick some butt, on tomorrow? I don't know. Let's take a look at the Eastern bracket. Monday at 9 a.m. for Tampa Bay and Columbus. Tampa Bay up 2-1. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., it's the Capitals hoping to get back into the series against the New York Islanders. Islanders up 2-0 in that series. That's Sunday at 9 a.m. Sunday at 5, the primetime game will be Philly versus Montreal. That series is tied up at 1-1. And then Monday at 5 p.m., Boston and Carolina. It worked out pretty well for them for the first game without Tuukka Rask. Can they keep it going? That, my friends, is the question. Over in the West, well, sorry to bring up the graphic of the graphics here. Vegas on the verge of closing out the series against Chicago at 3:30 tomorrow. Colorado will play the Desert Dogs Monday at 2:30 p.m. That's their next game, so they finally get some rest. After a day off, Dallas and Calgary will go at it tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. They're the first game out of the Western Conference hub. And that one, Calgary hoping to go up, put a stranglehold on the series, Joe Pavelski. Let's see your big Pavelski magic, right? Vancouver, probably the surprise of them all, could go up 3-0 tomorrow night, taking on St. Louis. Does St. Louis actually start Jake Allen tomorrow? Could they really start Jake Allen tomorrow? I mean, they keep talking about rumors here, but my goodness. Jake Allen? Really? Really? I think you still got to roll with Bennington in this one, but maybe have a short leash. I'm sorry. You gotta go with that for sure. So with that brings a close to it. We have 5 games on the schedule tomorrow. You could have our first handshake / fist bump line by the time you eat dinner. Let's hope not. Chicago, now's the time to have your reverse sweep. So with that, I will not be here tomorrow. I am trying to recruit AJ and Jerk to take over for me tomorrow. I have store inventory at my work, so unfortunately, I won't be here, and nor will I be able to watch most of the games. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here for that. If not, I'll definitely be back here Monday, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, to come on now. It's me. Really?